In this WrestleTalk news, former WWE star Velveteen Dream has been arrested, Braun Strowman has been discussed for a WWE return, Ollie Davis's review of Monday Night Raw, and more. Subscribe and enable notifications to Always On for daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
We kick things off with the news of former WWE star Patrick Clark, also known as Velveteen Dream, who was arrested on August 26th for possession of drug paraphernalia in Florida and is currently in Orange County Jail in Orlando. Shortly after the news came out, Mike Johnson of PW Insider reported that this is in fact Clark's second arrest this month, as court records show that he was also arrested on August 20th by Orlando police for first-degree battery and trespassing on a property without warning, both of which are first-degree misdemeanors. Johnson adds that Clark posted bond on August 21st and pled not guilty to those charges. Clark recently made his return to social media, making pleas with Triple H to bring Velveteen Dream back to WWE, following Trips rehiring a bunch of former NXT names like Dakota Kai, Dexter Lumis, Johnny Gargano, and Karrion Kross. Clark was released by WWE in May of 2021 over reported behavioral issues. He was also the subject of an internal investigation by WWE as part of the Speaking Out movement over claims that he made inappropriate contact with a minor and accusations that he was grooming him. Triple H told CBS Sports in August of 2020 that they didn't find anything in their investigation. Speaking of those returns we've seen since Triple H took over as head of creative, and Fightful Selector reporting that one name that has been discussed internally, with pitches being made, is Braun Strowman. Sean Ross Sapp notes that this doesn't mean Strowman is returning, just that pitches have been made internally, which could mean that they are gearing up to start negotiations with him. One WWE source told Fightful that Strowman was looking ring ready, noting that he looked better now than he did when he was first in WWE. He is also currently dating WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Raquel Rodriguez. Fightful reached out to WWE, who could not confirm that these pitches for Strowman had been made, but also didn't deny them. Strowman was released from WWE in June of 2021, and it was reported that he was playing hardball during conversations for a new contract after landing a huge seven-figure deal for his 2019 renegotiations. He and fellow release star EC3 launched new promotion Control Your Narrative, which ran a few shows earlier this year but have not been heard from since July. Sean Ross Sapp also confirmed Andrew Zarian's report that there is interest from WWE's side of bringing back Bronson Reed, who has been wrestling on the independent scene as Jonah, though he hasn't learned if anything beyond general interest has been put forth. And finally, it's being reported by the very reliable WrestleVote that there has been some discussion creatively, apparently for the first time in a long time, regarding Roman Reigns dropping the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Not only that, but they've heard multiple ideas have intrigued those making the final call come Saturday in Cardiff. Come on, Drew, bring it home! And now hot tag to Ollie Davis for the Monday Night Raw review.
Now it's time for my review of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. The go-home show for Clash at the Castle opened on the continuation of the Ziggler Naissance. Yes, he's lost quite a bit. Yes, 2 of his 3 matches since Triple H took over have had 0 crowd reaction. But he had a pretty decent match last week against Balor, which means I'm here to show the world, come on! Oh crap, he just lost again. The opening match was far less than the sum of its parts. More about the Edge post-match angle with Balor and Priest than Dolph and AJ Styles simply losing. I'd at least prefer to protect Styles a bit more. I get Priest and Balor are the ones with the pay-per-view match, but you've got a perfectly good Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali right there. Edge had a cute line about Judgment Day only being here because they didn't get tickets for the My Chemical Romance tour, MCR. And then the Mysterios jumped Balor and Priest with kendo sticks from behind, which coincidentally, kendo sticks from behind the upcoming title for Dominic and Ripley's home movie. Because in all this, once again, Sub refused to hit Rhea Ripley with his weapon and just handed it over to her as she escaped with the rest of Judgment Day. I think the Who's Your Daddy match has left some substantial long-lasting effects. It was later announced that it will be Edge and Rey Mysterio versus Balor and Priest at the pay-per-view, scuppering Luke's fantasy booking of a 6-person intergender tag with Beth Phoenix and Ripley, which they appeared to build last week. Dom later told one of his daddies daddies, Ray, that he'll be in his corner for the show, as Edge is also family. You can only have so many daddies, Dom. Oh, he's definitely turning heel for Ripley. Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss and Asuka squashed 3 local enhancement wrestlers in a warm-up match for the pay-per-view. Female jobbers. Oh, that's true equality. Only in wrestling could a genuine legend's hometown chant, "You suck," as a term of endearment. And that's exactly what happened with Pittsburgh's own Kurt Angle. It was perfectly interrupted by Chad Gable trying to recruit new members to Alpha Academy. This turned into a tag match with the Street Profits, who ran down for the save in black and gold attire. Cough, NXT reference, cough, Triple H is booking now just in case you still didn't know, cough! With the fun stakes of Kurt having to join Alpha Academy if Chad and Otis won. They had a really good match with Chad's counters and Dawkins' superb pounce on Otis over the announcer's table as a highlight. The Profits won, with their dissension storyline non-existent, and celebrated with Angle by first drinking their red cups to be replaced with bottles of milk, in a great use of nostalgia, which was somehow topped by Edge running into Kurt backstage later on, where they replayed the famous prank placard gag, only this time it was Edge apologising for all the awful things he'd done to Angle, like shaving his head and starting the "You Suck" chant. This had no right to be as heartwarming as it was. I thought that was going to be my favourite part of the whole show, but 2 other excellent segments also happened. Visit WrestleShop.com every day for the most stupendous in wrestling merchandise. WrestleShop.com, wrestling merch for grown-ups. Triple H took the SummerSlam filler match of Riddle vs Rollins, held off on it, and has managed to book one of the most heated blood feuds in the whole company over the course of a month. And even if you weren't into it before, because Seth laughing sometimes gives me go-away heat too, this go-home angle here gave the feud a whole new layer. After footage taken earlier in the day of Riddle and Rollins clashing in the most dangerous place of all WWE, the parking lot, the advertised face-to-face actually became more of a side-to-side Zoom call. It was more of the same that we've had so far, which finished on the cute line from Riddle that he's going to prove there's only one man in Seth's marriage, his wife. In a similar vein to the Loomis invasion nods, Raw then did something ingeniously subtle. The commentators played us what happened between Seth and Riddle when the show had gone to commercial after their interview. Seth, dropping all his ridiculous delivery, coldly told Matt, "If you talk about my family, I'll talk about yours. How your wife divorced you and took the kids because they don't want to see your bitch ass anymore." Riddle then exploded with censored swears. It's the best Seth has looked in years, and it didn't involve a single wacky laugh. This will surely be the best go-home angle of the week. It's weird how they're doing a PTSD kidnap victim storyline with The Miz, of all people. As Byron said, he kind of feels sorry for the guy. Don't like feeling sorry for The Miz. Adam Pearce offered him counseling, but Miz wouldn't talk about it. He won't talk about why he was released. He won't press charges, which is why Loomis is free again. Miz almost had Bobby Lashley beat for the US title thanks to Ciampa's interference when Loomis distracted him from the top of the stands, letting Lashley retain. Later, Miz drove off and Dexter was revealed to be in the back seat. I have no idea where this is going, but I'm intrigued. The best segment on the whole show, though, was Kevin Owens interrupting Sami Zayn and the Usos, hyping Roman Reigns' 2 years as champion celebration for this Friday's SmackDown. It brilliantly put Sami in the middle, between his lifelong frenemy KO and the cool gang at school he's just joined, the Bloodline. It's effectively the plot of Mean Girls. Roman Reigns is Regina George. Owens reminded the Bloodline that Roman owes him one, so Jay got up in his face, bringing out KO's awesome line. I think this is the part where we just drop the microphones, get a referee out here and fight, right? Owens is nailing his tweener character. KO had yet another in-ring banger with the added layer of Sami drama. The Usos wanted Zayn to hit Owens with a chair, but Sami hesitated, letting KO get the win. This is surely building to Sami turning on the Bloodline to start an Usos versus KO and Zayn tag title feud, and when that happens, it'll be one of the greatest moments of my life. Johnny Gargano's still here, yay! He had a pre-taped interview segment where Theory walked in and negged him. It's good they're letting this feud breathe and not rushing it onto this Saturday's card. And the show closer was Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, which I appreciate getting the main event spot, as it is the women's tag title tournament final, even if it is super predictable. Oh, Rodriguez and Aaliyah won. Didn't see that coming. Mostly because it's bad. Bayley was chased off by Belair, Bliss and Asuka for interfering. Aaliyah got the blind tag because that's the only finish that the women's tag title tournament actually has, and rolled up Kai to win and become the new women's tag team champions. Monkey's paw, I guess. We wanted less predictability, and this sure wasn't predictable. But I also don't want the relatively new faction with the two very freshly debuted NXT call-ups with a gimmick based around controlling the women's division, not just losing, but being outsmarted 5 days out from their major match at the pay-per-view. What did you think of Raw? Let me know in the comments down below. I thought the Riddle, Rollins and KO Usos segments were genuinely excellent, and the Kurt stuff worked great. The opening and closing matches were pretty uninspiring though, and I think the tag title swerve will damage Sky and Kai in the long run. This week's Raw was 78%. Yet another actor unhappy in AEW. Watch on to find out more.
In this WrestleTalk news, FTR are unhappy at being removed from AEW's video game. WWE morale is very high. Possible details on that new AEW TV show and more.